Okay, so this one off the sample paper, I want to do this one as well because it's got mid-interval values again, which is very important for Junior Cert Higher. So the Phase 9 Census at School questionnaire contained the question, approximately how long do you spend on social networking sites each week? The histogram below illustrates the answers given by 100 students, randomly selected from those who completed the survey. Okay, so we're looking at a histogram here, and a histogram breaks it up into intervals at the bottom. So I have 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, all the way up to 20 to 22. Okay, and then on the y-axis, it shows you the frequency or the number of students. So how you read this is students, how many students spend between 0 and 2 hours on social networking sites. So you come up to the bar and you go across to the y-axis, and can you see that's 11 students. So 11 students spend 0 to 2 hours on social networking sites. Between 2 and 4, it's the biggest one, so let's go up here. It's 31 students spend between 2 and 4 hours per week on social media sites. And all the way up, if we have a look at 20 to 22, for example, let's go across to the y-axis, and it looks like 4 students there spend 20 to 22 hours on social networking sites every year. And you might need a ruler. I've just got a ruler now on my screen. I know you can't see it, but yeah, just to make sure that it is actually 4. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the questions. Using the data from the histogram, use the data from the histogram to complete the frequency table below. So I have the number of hours and the number of students. So how many students spend 0 to 2 hours? Okay, so I've got my ruler, and I can see there that's 11 students. Between 2 and 4, I'm putting my ruler across, and it looks like 31 students there. So 31. Okay, let's go back to 4 to 6. So again, I have my ruler down. You can probably hear it. It's 18 students. And my pen won't write. So 18 students. 6 to 8. 13 students. 8 to 10 is the same, it's 11. 10 to 12, where am I down here? 3 students. 12 to 14 and 14 to 16 are the same. It's 1 student. 1 and 1. 16 to 18 hours is a bit of a jump up. 6 students. 18 to 20 is 1 again. And 20 to 22, was that 4 if I remember right? Yeah, that was 4. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. You can see there's many different charts, many different ways of representing data. So this is a frequency table and a histogram. Okay, so some people prefer data presented in pictorial format like that. Others prefer it in tables as such. Okay, to draw a histogram, you generally would develop a frequency table like this first, and then you go from here to your histogram. Okay, part 2 then says, what is the modal interval? The modal interval. So the mode is, I'll write it up here, the mode is the value that occurs most often. Okay, so you have to know that definition off by heart. Okay, so that's the mode. Now this asks for a modal interval. Is it different? Well, no, it's not, okay? So mode is a single value. It's a value that occurs most often. And you can see here, we don't have single values, we have intervals. So we have groupings of hours. So between 4 and 6 hours, between 6 and 8 hours, between 8 and 10 hours, okay? So a modal interval is the grouping or the interval that has the most students watching for that long. So you're looking for the biggest number here, and you can see that the biggest number is this one here. Okay, that is got 31 students. So our modal interval in that case then is 2 to 4 hours. Okay, so no calculation for mode. You see the answers, the value that occurs most often, or in this case, the modal interval is the interval that has the most students in it. Okay, part 3 then, taking mid-interval values. So this is the third example of mid-interval values that we've done. Find the mean amount of time spent on social networking sites. Okay, so we need to write down our mid-interval values. Okay, so when we're calculating our mean, we add up them all and we divide by the number of students. Okay, so the mid-interval value, what is the middle way between 0 and 1 on 2? It's 1. Between 2 and 4 is 3. So I'm literally getting halfway between these numbers. So I'm averaging. So I could work it out. I could go 4 plus 6 over 2 and we get 3. Sorry, we get 5. Okay, halfway between 6 and 8 is 7. Between 8 and 10 is 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19 and 21. So what I've written in purple up there at the top is what's called the mid-interval value. It's the middle value in the range. Okay. So to calculate the mean then, okay, you have 11 students watching for this number of hours. So we average 0 to 2 out as 1. So we have 11 students watching for 1 hour. We have 31 students watching for approximately 3 hours. We have 18 students watching for approximately 5 hours. We have 13 students watching for approximately 7 hours. We have 11 students watching for approximately 9 hours. We have 3 students watching for approximately 11 hours. We have 1 student watching for 13 hours, 1 student watching for approximately 15 hours, 6 students watching for approximately 17 hours, 1 student for 19, and 4 students for 21. Okay, here's the mistake, a really easy one to make. Remember, you divide by the number of numbers. You do not divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You do not divide by 11. You divide by the number of students, which is 11 plus 31 plus 18 plus 13 plus 11 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1 plus 4. In other words, you add up all of these numbers on the bottom, and that's what you divide by, the number of students. Okay, now I know in this one that that bottom number is going to add to 100 because they already told me it was 100 students. Okay, so I could have divided by 100 in this case. But just in case you missed that 100 on the previous page, you will always get it when you add up the number of students here in the table. Okay, so let's put that into our calculator. So you can see now that's not the easiest to get into the calculator. So 31 by 3 plus 18 by 5 plus, and just keep battering your way through it. It's 19 plus 4 by 21. over, and I'm going to cheat and put 100 on the bottom. Okay, so I am getting 650 on the top over that 100, and that works out as 6.5 hours. Okay, and it feels right. It's down around here somewhere. Well, it's in here somewhere. Okay, and you can see the bulk of the students is down this end. Okay, which would pull our mean or our average down towards this side. Okay, there's much less students up here, which is why our mean is in the lower half of the table. Okay, so that was the mid-interval values. John is conducting a survey on computer usage by students at his school. His questionnaire asks the same question. He plans to carry out his survey by asking the question to 20 first-year boys on Monday after the midterm break. Give 2 reasons why the results from John's question may not be as representative as those in the histogram. Okay, so let me go back to see what that question was again. Approximately how long do you spend on social networking sites each week? Okay, so that was the survey question. And John is going to ask that same survey question now again, except he is only asking it to 20 first-year boys. And he's asking the question on the Monday after the midterm break. Okay, so is his survey good? Well, I would say no. Okay, his survey is not good. Okay, he should ask a random sample of all years or from all years in his school. If possible, a mix of boys and girls. Okay, why? Well, maybe first-year boys are not allowed on social media for a long length of time. Maybe leaving certs are allowed on it for longer. Okay, maybe TYs are allowed on it the longest. Okay, maybe first-year boys really like social media sites. Maybe they're on it longer. Okay, but by only asking first years, you don't get data that's what's called representative of the school. So it represents the full school, okay? And then by asking boys, that again doesn't make it representative. Well, it does if it's an all boys school. That's why I have if possible there. But if it's a mixed school, then he should be asking a mix of boys and girls, okay? Because maybe one gender spends longer or shorter on social media than the other. Okay, another reason why this data isn't representative, well, let's think about a break. Let's think about holidays. Do we spend more or less time on social media sites when we're on holidays? I would say yes, we spend more time. We have more free time during holidays. So in general, students, and it's not students, it's everybody, spends more time on social media during the holidays, as they have more free time. Or something to that effect, okay? There's no real mad right answer and wrong answer. You know, something like that, okay? What other types of answers could, there's 2 now. And in fact, there's 3 because a mix of boys and girls could be another one. And maybe you could argue that 20 students was too little. Remember, the histogram was done on 100 students, and the more students you ask, the better your data is. So maybe you could say 20 was too little, okay? And again, it depends on how many is in the school. But really important to understand what representative means and how to do a good survey. So just think about you doing a survey and trying to get answers to a question and make it real for you, and then you should be able to answer a kind of a question like that.